7:51:40. Tell you what though, that's still pretty fast. You guys will have to let me know if that's a record. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, and ladies, we're gonna start right where we left off in the last video. Let me show you what's in the box. You guys are gonna love this. At least, I think you will. I think you can probably tell what it is just from the shape. I have mentioned it in some videos previously. Once again, I gotta give a big shout out to my boy @KPoo on Instagram for hooking me up with these fenders. If you guys aren't following him, I'll leave a link to him in the description. If you're looking for fenders, hoods, taillights, headlights, a lip, a diffuser, make sure to hit him up, tell him I sent you. Now, as you saw in the last video, I've already removed the bumper and the headlights. After looking at the fender, looks like I got 2 bolts here by the side skirt, which in turn means I gotta take the side skirts off. Which in reality isn't a big deal because my daughter already tore apart the passenger side skirt, which I gotta take off anyway. So that's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna take off the side skirts. And before I get any comments, this is gray. It's not a bald spot, it's gray. Side skirts are off. Let me show you the damage Hannah did to this one now that the thing is off. It's actually, she did a pretty bad job. Yeah, she destroyed it pretty bad. But now it's time to take the fender off. So as you can see, the driver's side fender is on. Everything is put back together other than the bumper. I was filming it. I ran into a bunch of problems, so I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna put the camera down. I'm gonna work on this whole side. That way I know what I'm talking about when I get to the passenger side, because it actually looks like there's a little bit more on the passenger side we might have to do. This one looked a little bit easier. So come to find out, you have to remove the factory rocker panel, which some would call a side skirt, and then you have to modify the fender a little bit. It's not too bad, but you have to modify it. DIY Honda, go check his channel out. I'll leave the link in the description. He also made a video on how to take these off. That's actually how I figured out we need to remove the rocker panel. But he came up with a method to get these off. You don't have to drill them out, but it looks like a pain in the butt to do. So I'm not gonna need them anyway, because those little square heads in the back wouldn't fit through the fender, which I'd have to modify all those holes. I'm just gonna put regular clips in them. If you wanna keep them and save them for yourself, go check out his video. But the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take the rocker panel off. There's a clip underneath here and a screw. Clip, 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 clip. And then there's 3 screws back here. One back here, one here, and then one up here. Now I'm just using a socket with a 7mm and a Phillips head bit. You can jack it up, take the wheel off, but that'll just take more time. And there is one back here. It's pretty high up here. I ended up breaking the clip on the other side. Okay, so there's a clip holding this in right here. So what you want to do is just pull on it. There, the clip came out. Now, what you have to do is you have to push it this way towards the rear. Use good old elbow grease. We need to open the doors a little bit first.
Perfect.
Or you just do that. Now, we are gonna need these again, and I'll show you what we're gonna do with them when we go to put the skirt back on. So you're gonna have a couple of these white tabs left over. Easy to take out. Quarter turn, comes out. Now there's this piece up here at the front. There's a little clip here as well. Just push forward to get it off that clip, comes right off. And then you do the same thing with this, quarter turn, pops right out. We got about 5 bolts we gotta take out for the fender. The first one is right here, second one is right here, the third one is right here. The reason we had to take the rocker panel off for this one right here, and then the last one is back here, right here, behind the washer fluid tank. We've tried a wrench, we've tried a ratchet, nothing works. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take 10 mil off of here and one back here, see if we can't move it either side to get that bolt out. hopefully this isn't a problem when we go to put the new fender on. All right, hard one out of the way. So all the bolts are out, but there's one other thing that's gonna hold us up. So if you see right here, now it's covered in compound, there's a little clip that's angled down, and then there's another one down there at the bottom. So we need to push the fender down to get it out of those little clips. We need to remove this first. Well, you don't need to, but I just prefer to do it now. And once you got them out, fender comes right off. Next thing we have to do is we need to remove this. And to do that, we need to take a screw out that attaches the fender liner to it. Right here. Right here. Now when you're doing this, make sure to turn your wheel to the right. That way this side of the wheel is facing inward. That way you don't have to take the wheel off. Or if you want to take the wheel off, go ahead and take it off. I'll be taking the wheels off here in a couple videos. Now that that's removed, see back here there's a rubber grommet. Just pull that out, and then we'll have a clip to remove right here. And voila. Take this bracket off. There's a screw in here, and then there's two little pinch tabs that we're gonna have to pinch to pull it out. See what I'm talking about? We have to pinch this one out here, and this one here, and then this one here. Now that we have the bracket off the factory fender, we need to install it on this one. Now when Jake and I did it on the driver's side, we did it on the car. We can't do that on the passenger side because of the windshield washer fluid tank. So we gotta do it off the car. Now what we need to do is, we're gonna have to make these holes just a bit bigger. So we're gonna have to start with this one because I can't tell how much more we're gonna need for this one until it kind of starts to fit in this hole. And then we're gonna have to do the same thing with this one for the headlight bracket. So I highly recommend, if you have a Dremel, use it. If you don't, ask someone if you can borrow theirs. So look at the difference between the holes. This hole was this size, and we still got to probably take just a little bit more out of this one. And again, I'm gonna have to do this hole too, but we're gonna start on this one. As you can see, both holes are about the same size. Let's see if it fits. Fits perfect. Now the one thing we do need to make sure of is that it's flush back here, and when we drive that screw in, we'll be perfect. This is probably the most important part of the fender. However the gap is here is whether or not the bumper is going to fit in there or not. All right, it looks great. All right, so what we got to do now is we got to drill this one out a little bit more because of the square piece on the headlight bracket. And what you want to do is you want to go around the whole hole. You just don't want to focus on one end or the other. You want to make the whole hole bigger. I think that should be good enough. So we're going to put the fender on the car. Before we install the fender, we need to put this back on. First thing we need to do is we need to get this in line first because you don't want to be behind it. We need to put this clip in from that piece we just put on the fender. Now you're gonna have to tuck your hand back in here and find the hole. All right, once you get that clip in, then you can push that grommet right back in that hole that you took it out of. And then we can start bolting the fender back in. All right, we're gonna start with this one first. All right, now we're not gonna tighten them all up. We're just gonna put them all in, make sure we get it all lined up, and then we'll tighten from here and then work our way forward. Before we go any further, we gotta drill 3 more holes. One back here, one right here for the little tab on the headlight, and then one right here for the upper bracket for the bumper. Now they all have little dimples. You'll know exactly where to put them. Now this one here has to be pretty big, but what you're gonna have to do, because this is really thin, and you're just gonna twist this, you're gonna need someone to hold this while you drill these holes, and you're gonna have to go one at a time until you get there, or you're just gonna crack that off. We almost did that, on the driver's side. Oh, and I used a 1/4-inch drill bit for these two. We're gonna have to get to that size on this one though. We're gonna have to take our time. All right, I'm gonna need Jake to hold this so I can drill it. All right, we got it in there. We had a little less space than on the driver's side, and I went to the 5/16 bit. Needed a bigger one, but I just drilled it out a little bit more with this bit, because any bigger, I know it would have snapped. But we got it in there nice and secure. Now it's time to put all the other bolts back in. Now we put the bolt back in the tank because it was leaking windshield washer fluid. The little seal up here, pushing it this way, broke the little seal, pushed it away from it. So we put it back in so it won't leak any further. But it's gonna leak a little bit more because we gotta get this bolt back in. All right, so we're gonna put a washer behind this just to kick this out just a little bit more. All right, everything looks really good. Time to tighten it all down. It's time to put these clips back in because we're getting ready to put the rocker panel back on. Each section gets a clip. One right there, here, 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 and so forth down the line. Put it on and slide it forward until it locks in place, until you can't go further. And then we have these two little clips that are just gonna slide right in here. All right, remember that loose piece that was in there whenever we took the rocker panel off? It's time to put it back on. So what we need to do first is put this clip back in. I'm gonna have to drill this out because I can't get this in there, so I'm gonna have to make this hole just a little bit bigger. Before we clip this on, we have to slide this into the piece under the fender. So make sure you do that.
Way better, dude. Way better.
Oh no, it's the next day. It got really late and it started raining, so it just stopped raining finally this afternoon. So I'm going to show you what the car looks like, but before I do that, a couple things. Number one, have a friend help you. It would make it go so much smoother. Number two, use a Dremel. Don't use a drill like we did. It will save you so much more time. And number three, this is the first fitment. I'm gonna have to probably try to fit it 2 or 3 more times just to get those brackets right. And like I said earlier in the video, that is the most important part of those fender brackets. You'll see why here when I show you the car. Now blue's gonna change again here in a couple weeks, so I hope you're looking forward to that. I got a bunch more stuff coming too, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. And as always, this was your boy Miller. I'll see you in the next one. See, this is what I was talking about. Fitment. Didn't have enough gap in here to push the rest of this on. So we're gonna have to take the brackets off and redo it again. And then there's the driver's side, which isn't nearly as bad. Again, gotta take it out, drill the holes again. Now this one, we don't have to take the fender off because we're able to drill in there without having to take it off because there's nothing behind it. Now on the passenger side is the windshield washer tank. So we have to take that fender off.